Welcome to, and what is this called anyways? Anybody can sew or no?
Getting creative with Pony
Cosplay.
Cosplay.
Okay, so basically you'll see that Katrina Keyes is listed as the panel host for this, and she wasn't able to attend the convention, unfortunately. So Crackles Cousin Cosplay are here as
Stepping in,
the
helping out.
resident cosplayers to talk to you today about our experience with pony cosplay, learn about some of yours, and answer questions, and just have a really great time talking about cosplay, learning about cosplay.
Hello? Yes. Ah, there we go.
All right, so we'll start off by telling you a little bit about each of ourselves, just so you know kind of our backgrounds and the scope of our abilities to talk with you today. I think I'll go last, and we'll start with Copper.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Copper Rose. I have been cosplaying pretty much my entire life. I've always made my own Halloween costumes. I've always entered and competed in costume contests. And I am now currently pursuing a degree in fashion design. So I like to think I'm pretty qualified in what I have to say.
And she's modest because she's actually at the most premier and oldest fashion institute in the world.
At least in America.
And she is an amazing designer in that program. She's also a Grandmaster champion and actually won Grandmaster champion as a child at the age of 10, beating out all the adults in a master level competition.
It's not a big deal. I'm so humble, but
yeah. So she's being very humble.
I do know what I'm doing.
But yes, she's
safe to say I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So she's a wonderful addition to our team, Crackles Cousins Cosplay, and part of my family. And next.
Yes. So I'm Swift or Swift Sketch. There we go. Yes. All right. So I'm Swift. I am a part of Crackles Cousin Cosplay. I joined up. What was it? 2021. Was when I officially joined, yes. And so yeah, I've been to a lot of cons with them, and learning from them a lot on what to do with cosplay and whatever. And yeah, I've really stepped up my game with that because honestly, I kind of was more of a casual cosplayer before that.
And Brian's also being modest.
I had to follow that.
We judge internationally, and we judge all the pony competitions in the U.S. and Canada, except for BabsCon, which is on their last year next year. But we are the official con judges for all the conventions. And Brian was a regular competitor, and he actually received from me my Judge's Choice Award, I think the year before that.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because it was so fabulous. I loved it. And then we had a convention that was circled all around just cosplay called the Celebration of Cosplay Convention in Milwaukee. And that was the first con coming out of the pandemic. And
well, so us together, we had to basically run the cosplay department on a convention that was all about cosplay.
So yeah, he was my only person in the department. No one else. People were afraid because it was, coming back from the COVID. Mm-hmm. And I had a whole con to run for the con chair based on cosplay. And I had one employee. We pulled off an amazing con with almost 1,000 people, which is bigger than this con, with just one person on my staff. It's also where I ended up recruiting Aaron over here, our other Crackles Cousins Cosplay member. He is our lead team photographer, and I stole him from being one of the best lead team photographers of all of the pony cons across the nation, because nobody was there for us like this guy, running his butt off. and taking pictures of all the cosplayers and of us. So after I came out of planning a whole convention circled around cosplay for 1,000 people, I said, there's no way these two are not going to be a part of our team. They are team players if I know of any, and also talented in their skills of cosplay and photography. So I'm so happy to have them on.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, last but not least, moi. I have been doing this before cosplay was called cosplay. Yeah, that's scary, right? I'm an OG cosplayer. Back in the Comic-Con original days, starting off with that level of competition and doing all that way before PonyCons even happened. And then when I became a mother, and bred people so I could dress up. And the other one that was just here for the panel before this, who you'll see with us.
She really likes playing dolls.
Yeah, and I have a third, which is she's also part of our team. It was just, we kind of had to find a fandom that I could bring little girls to introduce them to cosplay to. And what a better fandom than My Little Pony, right? So without expecting to become a family of CGs.
Horse famous.
Yeah. We just wanted a place where I could expose my already honed hobby with my daughters. And we became Crackles Cousin Cosplay after taking several championships from competing when they were kids and realizing, ooh, we can't really compete against people because you keep winning and your kids, and I feel bad because we're pony people and we like to play fair and nice, and so let's transition to judging. And then
we did,
and this is where we are now, being able to represent our community.
I remember you guys, like when I was at other conventions, like you had your Widow Crackles Cousin cosplay. It was a group cosplay where like each character, they were dressed up as each of the characters, and then as their characters they were dressed up as, were in the Crackle costume, so that they could come in and out of the costume as the ponies.
I actually have photos.
Yeah. And it was the best thing I'd ever seen. Like honestly, yeah, it was no wonder they were taking all the awards at the cosplay competitions.
So if you're not familiar, the costume that Swift is describing is our giant Crackle dragon. It is our namesake. It is a 3-person dragon costume, and it was humongous and a true pain in the patoot to wear, but oh my gosh, it was fun.
My patoot was fine. I was in the front.
I was the butt. I was the butt of the dragon, and I was bent over, and I had my face in someone else's butt.
I picked the head of the dragon.
Yes. Dragon.
Oh, that's our other cosplayer, Harmony.
Say hi to Harmony.
Hi. She just did the panel before this, so she's got to go get changed for our next event. We keep changing costumes. We're like James Bond, but costumes. I don't know. I'm tired.
I did not forget my routine.
Yeah, so we're known for our giant cosplays. We've been known to rent U-Hauls for our props. We once made a hot air balloon that's life-size that 2 ponies could fit in, so we could do the Minty and Thistle Whistle from G1 in their big hot air balloon scene, and we actually inflated it up in the room and had that as one of our costume props.
It was huge and it was
Yeah,
magnificent.
it wouldn't fit in this room. We had to get the measurements from the ballroom that we were competing in, so we knew how high we could make our hot air balloon.
Yeah.
And we had it figured out with engineering principles of cosplay to inflate and be portable enough in the U-Haul to come, bring it, wheel it in, and then poof it up so it'd fill up the room when it was our turn to compete. All right.
So now you know us.
Now you know us. And we will start if there's questions, and if not, as you can tell, we have no problem talking, especially me.
I am good to yap.
All right, first question.
I would like to ask the Source Witches doll, how was the namesake thought of? What were the origins of the name Crackles Cousin?
So, do we all remember the episode where Spike was going to the Dragonlands and he was going to find himself as a dragon? So there was a point in that episode where Twilight, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity, they were going to help him, but they didn't want to be ponies and be seen as ponies. So they put together a giant dragon costume for the three of them to wear. And then the other dragons saw our dragon outfit and were like, who is that? And one of them said, I don't know, I think he's Crackles' cousin. And then it pans to Crackle, and then Crackle gave a little brah, and he looked like the costume dragon. So the costume is Crackles' cousin.
But the point was, in the episode, like, technically, that dragon costume is cosplay. So that was the idea.
Cosplayception.
Yes.
Was it last year or the year? No, it was 2 years ago. As a group, we went to a convention as if we were going to the Daring Do convention,
Yes.
dressed up in the Daring Do cosplay. So we were ponies in Daring Do cosplays, attending a Daring Do convention at a pony convention. We love like the double, triple
Yes.
kind of add-ons
So,
on our costuming.
Cosplayception is
Yeah.
our vibe.
So I was Derby dressed up as Cavaleron. A little background gag that probably nobody noticed.
And
but
I
yeah.
was carrying around my Daring Do body pillow that you see only in one scene where she's wrapped up in rope in a joke in the vendor hall. So I had that with me because we pick up on like little minute details and like to replicate those. We have over 250 costumes that are pony related. So we like to find even just like crazy ones like that and bring them to life for people.
Like the pile of seaweed that was only on screen for about 30 seconds, and then we made it.
Yeah, because there was another scene where the three ponies also went into disguise again, also to the Dragonlands. That time they were disguised as seaweed, rocks, a tree stump, and something else.
Seaweed, rock, tree stump.
That might have been it.
I think that was it.
Yeah, because two of you were in the seaweed.
Yeah.
I was the stalagmite, and we had another tree. So yeah, there was a scene where the ponies also dressed up as those objects. So of course we had to do that too. So one time we were a tree, a stalagmite, some seaweed, you know, and showed up at opening ceremonies for one of the cons as CGs, but as those things. And we were ponies inside of those things, of course, because double cosplay.
I'm really glad that we didn't take our name from the rock seaweed.
Yeah, that would have been
tree
worse.
stump.
Yes, rock seaweed tree stump cosplay would have been worse than Crackles Cousin. Good question. Anyone else? Yeah.
Something I remember hearing at the BurnieCon cosplay panel where all things like cosplay is not consent. Have you guys ever had one of those opportunities where you get someone who doesn't respect that rule? Like, one example I can think of, who all was at the Ascenter Conquest panel from BurnieCon 2017?
He's asking about the cosplay's not consent concept. And you said there was a panel at BronyCon that addressed cosplay's not consent?
Yeah, and an example that came to mind when I think of that rule was there was someone at that event that jumped up on stage, went to hug the Discord cosplayer and told her back was like, yeah.
Oh.
And then the person just ran
So
off.
somebody hugged a cosplayer without consent. Okay, so here's the thing. Cosplay's not consent is very important.
Yes.
Because we are humans, obviously, we're not plushies.
Yeah.
And sometimes people confuse us for plushies, or the character that they have as their waifu or their favorite pony, and they forget the boundary barriers between human interaction and respecting people's body space and things. And so sometimes for cosplayers, we often experience that lack of social barrier. It's not always malicious. I mean, sometimes it is. But sometimes it's just they forget. They're so excited to see a character that they just want to hug us or live out their moment, and they just grab us, and that can be startling. That's why we had to, as a cosplay community, put out there cosplay is not consent. Just because we are a character doesn't mean you can cross social boundaries you would with another strange human you have never met.
Exactly.
So that's what that concept is. And some people will be flirty and nefarious about it, which makes that even more cringe, right?
Yeah.
It's like, save that for the after dark.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so we are used to that. We do a lot of deflecting and a lot of being able to kind of be aware. We're very aware, and when you've been doing this for a long time, I feel sorry for newbies that don't have that awareness that we do. But like, we're very aware. We can kind of read people a little bit more. Of course, someone sneaks up behind me that I'm not gonna whatever, but I try not to be triggered. I kind of turn around and like, I'm willing to like play the character. You know, if I'm worried, I'm like, oh darling, you just gave me a startle, you know, or something like that. Or you look magnificent. And if they get too close, I'll be like, no, stand over there. I have to see the whole outfit. Turn around, oh, so lovely. You know, and I'll try to like create some distance while still creating the interaction that they're craving.
Right. Again, it is kind of my go-to to stay in character, as long as it's not clearly malicious. If it's clearly malicious and I can see that you're trying to push my boundaries, I'm not gonna stand for that, I'm not gonna allow that. But if it's just someone who's overly excited and trying to like have fun at a convention, I'm more likely to stay in character and try and turn the situation around in a way that I'm comfortable and they're still enjoying their interaction. And I don't want to ruin their time, but I also don't want to ruin my time.
How many times are you likely to say yes if somebody comes up to you and says, may I have a hug, and calls you by your name, your pony name?
For the most part, I'm almost always going to say yes. Like, the only times you're going to see me not say yes is if I am eating, on my way to a panel, or on my way to the bathroom.
Right.
Unless I am like, if I'm not obviously distressed, I'm good with hugs. You ask first, but I'm okay with hugs.
Yeah.
And if I say no, you gotta respect that and we all move along and I'll catch you another time.
Yeah, but do men face that a lot? I know we as women cosplayers do. Do you ever face the lack of consent when you're in character?
I mean, as far as like, you know, people ask me for pictures, as far as people asking me for pictures, I'm always okay with that, but I don't know, I've never really had, no, I don't think I've ever had, I'm always super happy that, that anybody wants to interact with me. Like, I do have like I always make sure to ask if I'm going to get a picture with somebody else, but like I do have my thing, like, oh, when I'm just with Discord and I see a Celestia, I'm like, oh, I gotta get a picture with Celestia because I ship it, right? But I know that I gotta like, you know, play it cool and, you know, ask permission, you know, before I like just sign up to any Celestia cosplayer as Discord. You know, you gotta respect that boundary.
And Aaron, did you have something to add? Aaron is a very well-known furry as well as our photographer. He has two great personas.
Oh yeah. So I fursuit a lot, and I fursuit a lot out in like just public areas, and not just in conventions. A lot of people pull my tail. Like, I don't think they realize that it's actually attached to me, but I can feel it when you pull my tail.
Yes, cosplay and fursuiting are both not consent. Good question. Did that answer it?
I forgot to ask, or I forgot to talk about pictures. We talked about hugs, but there are pictures. Please always ask if you want a picture with someone. I've had times where I was in cosplay and trying to like get some food at like a hotel restaurant, and I've had people like pull out their phones and try to be sneaky and like take my picture without them like seeing that I see what's going on. Don't ever take a picture of someone without their consent. That's not okay.
We are our own walking art form too.
Right.
And this is our art, and basically we are our own like art. And you wouldn't go into the vendor hall and just snap big pictures of people's artwork to hang it on your wall, right? That'd be rude to the artist, right? So we're artists, and we are walking art.
Likelihood is, if you ask me for a picture,
well,
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
get a
say
better
yes,
one.
probably 99% of the time.
You're gonna get a better one too.
It's just
they'll strike a little pose.
Yeah, because they'll strike poses, and we want our art to be represented in the best fashion.
If you try to take a sneaky photo of me, then I'm gonna look you dead in the camera and make a face so your picture is ruined. So.
How many people out there cosplay? Yeah, good. How many people out there are interested in cosplay but have never tried?
Cool, cool.
Okay.
I feel that.
How many people have entered cosplay competitions before?
Nice.
Okay. How many people are going to enter our costume competition on Sunday? Not enough hands.
Good.
I highly encourage everyone to
Do it.
try,
Do it.
especially if you're in the pony community, because it's a great intro to competition, and it's really a great learning experience, and we're super friendly, so don't be shy. And there are forms that are down at Conreg and available for sign up on Sunday. I'm just giving it that little plug because I can't tell you how wonderful it is and what a privilege it is coming from the bigger anime communities where we also do this to these super friendly pony communities, and we welcome new faces all the time, so don't be afraid to come. Even if it's just a costume that you got out of your closet or bought on Amazon, hey,
We have a category for that.
Yeah, we celebrate you. Anybody that wants to just have fun and dress up, even with just putting on some pony ears and being in the right colors, you got something started, right? All right. Any other questions? Or you want to say something?
I did think of a time when I was Uncomfortable in Cosplay, but actually it wasn't because they didn't ask permission to get my picture. They did. I was just at Besbruckle Stan. The problem was they kept thinking I was Donald Trump, and no matter how often I explained that was Besbruckle Stan, and I was like, so they asked permission for the pictures, but I'm like, what are they going to do with these pictures? Like, they think I'm cosplaying Donald Trump.
Oh, I have a worse one. This is not a cosplay's not good. This is just funny. Yeah. So I've been having some medical issues the last few years. So because of the medications I'm on, I've gained some weight, which is just
human and normal,
heavier than dead. So it's fine. But I had a costume that was this really skinny character from Saber series, and she wears all white. And there is a Pokemon trainer that also wears all white, who's very plump and
adorable
curvy,
and hug-shaped.
And very curvy. And the whole convention, everybody thought I was her. They loved my cosplay. Everybody wanted my pictures as that character because they looked at my body shape and said, oh, you must be that Pokemon trainer. And so I just went with it. I'm like, I guess this is my costume now. So it's okay to ask somebody what they're like dressed up as if you're not sure.
Please ask. Don't assume.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny. I just had to go with it at that point and just embrace my.
It was fun because they did look so similar, and I pulled up that picture of her, and the only difference was your eye color.
Yeah, only difference was I had red eyes, so
Yeah.
it did just look like a bloodshot eyes.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I gotta embrace the curves. Any other questions?
You're alive. That's the important thing.
Oh, just add on what you're saying, like you were saying that about asking for a hug, and then of course there's the always classic glomping.
Here's the thing. If I get glommed, I'm getting you. No, absolutely not. Cosplay is an art form, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And glomping, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's where you run up to someone and give them an aggressive hug right away. Not okay. Do not do that. Never do that to a cosplayer. You are likely to break parts of their costume and even parts of their body. And if you break part of my costume or part of my body, we're going to have issues. And those issues will not be fixed well, they might be fixed quickly, but you're not going to like how I fix them.
I might
So
pee.
don't do that.
I might pee.
When you have 3 kids, you might pee.
Just kidding.
When you're in college and a young lady, you might get your nose broken.
No, it might scare me. It might be like, ah! Just, have bodily reactions. All right, other questions? Anything about process or any ideas?
Makeup, wigs, anything.
No? We can talk about anything else. Okay, go ahead.
I guess I don't know how to ask it, but basically, do you ever think about when creating the costumes, how it has an impact on the body temperature?
Oh, God.
Yes, all the time.
So the question is, do we take into consideration impact on body temperature in our costumes? Well,
Yes. So I get overstimulated very, very easily, and when I get overstimulated, I get grumpy, and when I get grumpy, I make everyone around me feel bad, and I don't like doing that, but I know it's something I do, so at least I know myself. So I always take into account, what am I wearing? How long am I gonna have to wear it? Do I have breaks where I can wear something else? What does XYZ do? So I'll just take this costume for example. Right now, it's cold outside. I'm about to go do a boardwalk walk. It's gonna suck, but I'm gonna have fun and it's gonna be okay. But on top of that, there's also this wig, which is massive and heavy. If I wear it for too long of a time, it's going to give me a headache. So what I do is I always make sure I have scheduled breaks where I can take it off, I can wear something else, I can hydrate, and I can get a snack. So always take into account what you're wearing, the conditions you're going to be wearing it in, and how long you're going to be wearing the outfit. If you've got uncomfortable shoes, take a break.
Don't be me. I am the worst person for exampling that, because like I just want to be the character at any freaking cost, and even if I don't like the character, like no offense, like I love this con, I love being mascot, I love representing the con, but this is not a character I would ever envision making for myself. So like honestly, Sunday when you if you're around Sunday night post-con, you might see me drowning this thing in the ocean because I'll be so done with it. I'm so sweaty under here. It smells like paint. I'm full of feathers. I'm molting everywhere. This is just a miserable situation from a physical standpoint. I'm sweating because I have layers and feathers and everywhere. And it's not even really like my style, right? I can only create an imitation. I can't have a lot of liberties when something else is already there. So I'm uncomfortable all the time. In a week and a half, I'm going to be on stilts to be the Gaia Everfree tree spirit in full Gaia form. That is not exactly something that a regular cosplayer would do. I'm going to be doing that because I need to be as big as Gaia appeared when they were telling the story about her around the bonfire. So I will be in stilts. That is not practical, but that's me. I am the worst example of comfort in cosplay. I suffer till I can't move for my art form. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it fully depends on the vibe you're going for. Do you want comfort or do you want to slay? There are options to do both. There are times to do both, and there are times to do one or the other. At one of the recent anime cons I went to, I physically was not feeling well. I was not doing okay. Nothing contagious. If you're contagious, obviously don't go to a con. But I wasn't doing too hot. So I forgoed wearing any cosplay because I knew if I was going to cosplay, I was going to make myself feel worse and I needed to just enjoy the event. But there are other times where I will physically torture myself because I want to look pretty. So you just need to know which one you're going for, what the vibe you're going for is, and if you are physically torturing yourself, take body breaks like I will be reminding you to do.
I know, and I'm always, suck it up! We got so much to do! Suck it up! That's me. I'm the fearless leader that just tells everybody to suck it up.
And I am eepy and I take naps.
Yeah, I'm like, pull yourselves together! We have this next! Everybody change! Go, 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 go!
Okay, so if you want to get into cosplay, you don't have to be like these people. You can just be comfortable. You can just have like a simple cosplay. That's how I got into it. I would just start wearing a suit with a Rainbow Dash tie, and then all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I was Grunkle Stan. You know, it's a very simple, comfortable cosplay without any parts that fall off.
Exactly.
So,
my hotel room will never be the same.
But then now they're rubbing off on me, and I'm wearing a hat that's too tall to walk down the hallways. And
yes, I rubbed off on you. You've gone pretty big lately.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're proud of you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. It is funny you were talking about cosplay feeling comfortable because within this past year or so, my friend Dee from Florida area, I first met her through the creator of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he shared a picture of her Jessica Rabbit cosplay. And my friend was going to cosplay her for a convention in Orlando. But after the first hour or so, because Jessica Rabbit has like a really out there shape or whatever.
Yeah, hourglass.
Yeah. She couldn't feel the legs at the first hour, and she went to she's a little more comfortable, she ended up losing her bag that had her car keys, her Apple Watch, and her Jessica Rabbit dress.
Wow.
Well, she doesn't see losing as a total loss because she needed to get a new one anyway. And in fact, she just recently got a new corset. And she's slowly working on making a new version of the Jessica Rabbit cosplay.
So that's a cosplayer learning what their own tolerances are that he just said a story of, and that's fine. And everybody has their own levels, and we celebrate, like I said, all forms, whether you're just in a pair of ears and that's where you're starting, or if you're walking on stilts like a tree person, which I'll be in a week and a half, or you're building hot air balloons, or you're buying stuff off of Amazon. It's all about a personal expression, right? Like that's why we call it an art form.
Right. Did you have a question? Water. Hydrate or dihydrate?
I have to drink liquid IV as a regular supplement anyways, so extra liquid IV gets put in my waters, and I make sure to drink a couple of those a day to stay hydrated. I do that. I'm good at drinking water. I'm just not good at making comfortable costumes.
All of you hydrate. Hydrate.
Yeah.
Don't pass out.
What's that?
Exactly.
Yeah, EMPs do not care. Yeah, and
Exactly.
fursuiters know that better than anybody. Yeah, fursuiters, some of them even have, like, oh, if I'm going to be like a giant Gundam robot creature, like fully in EVA, like I'll have a built-in air conditioning fan, and a lot of fursuiters will have built-in fans and stuff too. Because when you're fully encapsulated in something that doesn't breathe, you need to like have airflow bringing yourself in to that costume. So if I'm doing like a giant, fully encapsulated anything, I will have air system inside. You can build those.
If you have to, to that point, at least just don't overheat it. Just for the fact that paramedic will cut you out of your fursuit, and that's thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At least just for that.
Yeah. The EMTs will cut you out of your fursuit or cosplay or anything. So please don't pass out. Please don't die. Keep yourself safe for the very bare minimum of keep your cosplay safe.
Mine's not gonna be safe next week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to walk along the hallways.
Yeah.
Like, so, because I'm more afraid of people bumping into me.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of walking on stilts. I'm afraid somebody's gonna come around the corner and swipe me out. So my friend who just left the room, I'm also Sleepy Bean, their mascot for Winnie City, which is in a week and a half. I was joking, he can walk around with my beanbag chair, which I use, and follow me. So if I start to timber, I can fall into the beanbag chair at least. But someone could easily like not be paying attention and like take my legs out from under me or something. So I gotta stay on the hallways. I see one of my favorite people out there,
Hi,
Emily
Emily.
Foley. Hello, Emily. We're calling you out.
Hi, Auntie
Hello.
Emily.
We love you. One of our besties is out there.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart.
It's Crackle.
She knows.
Okay.
She can see she's not blind.
I don't know. We shapeshift every time we're seen.
All right, any other questions? Yes, right here.
Where's a good place to find materials for cosplay?
Good place to find materials for cosplay. It depends on your budget. So we'll tell you about all the different options. I'll start if you have an unlimited budget, and then we'll work our way down. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. I honestly don't have an unlimited budget right currently, but there was a point when I did. I'm a psychologist by profession, so I have my own private practice, and I also was not doing so good lately, was a lucrative business owner. I own a wedding, Wisconsin, and so I did have unlimited funds. And for the longest time, I was funding the entire team and all their costumes, all their travel expenses, all their hotel stays, plus being like a top sponsor at all the cons and buying them things. So like we were living up large, right? You know. So in that case, honestly, like. That's when you go to Joanne Fabrics, because like you can find lots of things there, or any of like your big fabric stores, or online. What's the one that makes the custom prints? I get stuff from me all the time. Spoonflower has tons of prints, and you can make any print you want. Like I bought some stuff like to make it look like tree bark. You can design your own fabric on Spoonflower. Like I love Spoonflower. I still will find ways to get Spoonflower fabric even on a budget. So Spoonflower, the fabric stores. You can even, like if you're not competing and you want to do something like an extra snazzy prop or something with your costume, you can get people that make things on Etsy, and if you're willing to buy it, you can actually buy some stuff on Etsy. But yeah, Spoonflower for your fabric, the hardware store for your things, your fabric stores, EVA foam, lighting, it depends what you want to build too. Like, if you give me a costume, I can really sit down with you and like say, oh, these are the specs or whatever. So back in the day, I could do anything, right? Now that I'm on a budget, we have two things. Let you talk about that, but I'm gonna say we're lucky because as celebrity cosplayers, we actually have some really amazing sponsors. And due to our sponsors, we're able to continue making the great costumes that we have. So on a lower budget, we've reached that level where now we have some really awesome people who want to make sure we still get to go to cons and still get to create amazing things and they enjoy our work. So shout out to our sponsors, and one of our best friends in the back is Coaster Brony.
Woo, Coaster!
I honestly wouldn't have been able to attend and make most of the costumes this past year without some of his support back there. So we appreciate our people that love us, and that's really great. So, okay. And you're talk about budget cosplay, because you know how to do that.
Yes, I do. I am good at budget cosplay.
You do
so,
too, so you can have it.
Yeah. My favorite place to shop first, before anywhere else, is I'm going to Goodwill. And I'm going to look for any clothing items that are close to what I need. As long as it's in the right color, I'll make it work. But also, bed sheets, curtains, cloth napkins, anything you can find that is textile can be turned into what you need it to be. So, start with Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, what are the other
charity
thrift stores?
donation of your choice.
Charity donation of your choice. Find a thrift store. Start there.
Or even your own closet. You might have clothes you haven't really worn for 5 years if you're like me, and you're like, why do I keep this? I haven't worn this in like 5 years. And the next thing you know, you have stuff in it that's like 20 years old, and then they're talking about having a 90s theme, and you're like, I got stuff in my closet already. Yeah.
Clothing as old as your children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often go to Goodwill. Another place that I go quite often is like Amazon or online to buy stuff like that. You're always on there. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what sizes stuff is going to be, but there's like so much variety of stuff you can find on there. Yeah.
And you're an expert at just even making stuff out of cardboard.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
he's made some crazy stuff out of cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Homie knows how to make props.
Yes, yeah, we haven't really talked about props that much, but I love props. A good prop will make the cosplay and give you something to interact with in pictures. It's really important. Well, I think it's really important to, yeah. And there are certain tricks for pictures. Just the top one that not a lot of people think about is if your photographer is over there, you want to turn your body away and then turn only your head towards them. And that gives you a lot more.
Look how cute
you want to
you
do something. Or, yeah. Anyway, so you do whatever pose you want to do to make sure your body's not facing the camera. I know it makes sense. You want to like go, oh, the camera's there.
Okay, I'm gonna modify that because
Uh-oh.
that's great for you, you handsome young man.
Great for young men.
If you're a rotund chicken, you do not want to see what this looks like from the side, especially with all this extra fluff going on here. You want to lean forward for your picture, because in the picture, all this gets sucked back automatically, and then you'll have a better, and I'm spacing my feet out too, because I don't want to be a block. If I want to do what he did, ready? Don't scream in horror. If I want to do what he did, it'd be like, whoa, hey, how you doing? I'm about to have some chicken babies.
So for a lovely young man like him here, do that.
But if
If
you want
you're
to
not-
have like a different silhouette, you can lean in, and that just takes that to a different level. You know what I mean? As a woman, you can even lean back too sometimes, but then you want to put your hand in special spots. Distract. You know, Vogue. Give them something else to look at.
Exactly.
If you have a prop, whatever it is.
Yeah, don't be afraid to like pick
Use your
your
prop.
best pose and like use it over and over again, because all these people ask for pictures, they're not gonna talk to each other and go, hey, wait a second, this person looks the same in all the photos. They'll just be happy to have a photo.
Find your good side and use it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Thank you for talking about photos.
Yeah.
He loves photos. Whenever we go anywhere, he'll be certain to remember to, oh, I gotta get this picture. We gotta do this photo shoot. We gotta do this. And he's been such a helpful reminder, especially now that we have Aaron, to utilize Aaron for that, because we are so busy running around doing panels, we forget to take our own pictures, and we never really pose for Aaron.
There have been conventions where I fully forgot to take pictures of the entire con because I'm too busy running around.
Yeah, and thank
Those are
God for
sad.
Aaron, and thank God for Brian, who remembers to even take pictures in costume. So that's my tip to you all.
Take pictures.
Take pictures of yourself. Celebrate yourself.
You'll want them later.
Selfies, ask a friend. Pictures with other cosplayers. You put all that effort into it, get some memories that last forever. Not all costumes will, especially ones that you want to drown in the ocean when you're over with them, like mine. Into the ocean you go.
Yeah.
I said I was going to drown my Rarity mermaid in the pool at Winnie, and then I never got there. I owe a Winnie.
Can we do it now?
I didn't bring that one. But well, we could do it this Winnie.
Good.
My Rarity mermaid from last Winnie, I want to take her swimming. Any other questions?
It was very pretty though, I liked it.
I'm glad, thank you. You look like Rarity was
But yes,
eating a lot of
I
gems.
love photography, but I just dabble. I just collect pictures basically. that's why I'm always thinking about it.
All right, we have like 10 minutes because we're gonna end 5 minutes before the end of the hour. Any other questions? Yes.
I don't really dabble too much in the fabric when I cosplay. So, do you prefer the hand sew or hand sewing?
Oh my God. So when my girls were little, they only knew how to hand sew. And when they finally discovered the magic of the sewing machine, I think it was like life-changing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've got some good expertise to share on this right now, being in design college. So, you want to start by having a good foundation of hand sewing. Hand sewing will always be a good thing to fall back on as long as you know how to do it.
Yeah, because if something breaks midway con, you can't bring out a sewing machine on an airplane.
Right. So part of this dress is half hand sewn, part of it is half machine sewed. You want to know what you're using it for. So there are things that cannot be machine sewed, like my tail. This was all hand done. There was nothing I could do machine on it. But the back seam of this dress was machine sewn. So any foundational stitches, I'm gonna call them, anything that is truly holding together a garment, you're gonna wanna know how to sew that machine. But if it's anything like adding embellishments, adding straps, adding ribbon, that can be hand sewn. But at the end of the day, machine stitches always are going to look cleaner, they're going to look neater, and if you're going for the sake of competing, machine stitches are going to be judged higher. However, that's not saying that hand sewing doesn't have its merits, because it does. There's a lot of things that you can do with hand sewing that you can't do with machine sewing. So it's just a matter of what are you making? Is it foundational or is it frilly and extra? If it's foundational and a pair of pants, you do not want to hand sew a pair of pants because then the world's going to see your buttocks. And the world does not want to see your buttocks, at least not for free. So, foundational stitches, machine stitch. You're just going to want to start on a nice beginner-friendly machine, get it going, figure it out, and then from there move up and move forward if you feel the need for a heavy-duty machine. I started with a small Singer machine. Was it a Singer?
Yeah, your
Yeah.
first one was a Singer.
I started with a small Singer sewing machine that only knew its the the basics, the zigzag, the straight stitch, the whatever you have. And then now in fashion college and as a cosplayer, I've moved up to the Singer Heavy Duty 500, which is big and gray and industrial sized and would sew through my bones if I didn't move my hand enough. So, know what you are sewing, know what its job is, and stitch accordingly.
Yeah, I started sewing after joining Crackles Cousin. Actually, before that, I was opposed to sewing anything, and in general, she was right. I found if you're doing like a large section, something that's flat, very, very easy to do on the machine. But if it's got a bit of a curve to it, or for example, I was trying to do Sparky Sparkaroni. It was a plush of a dragon, but the eyes were wrong. So I actually had to use a curved sewing needle to sew by hand. So you can't do it with a machine, right? You can't sew onto a not flat surface or onto a, and so I did that, and it held up for the convention, thank goodness, but afterwards, well, the stitches fell apart because I'm not super good at it. And I also did that Sonic Rainbow Dash. I had to sew onto an existing bodysuit, and so I had to also sew that by hand. It looked pretty bad, but that kind of helped with the look because the point was it was supposed to be a cosplay that Rainbow Dash had made.
Rainbow Dash made her own Sonic cosplay.
Yeah, who would Rainbow Dash want to cosplay? Sonic. That was my thought process, and yeah, it wasn't the best, but that was kind of what I was going for, so it worked in the end. Yeah.
Any other questions? Oh, you got a guy in the back.
I've looked into wigs before, but I never really got anywhere with it. Where would you get wigs or how would you make them?
So a good place to start with just your basic beginner wig is just start on Amazon and start by looking at the reviews. If it's got 9 reviews at 5 stars, it's probably bought reviews. Don't go with those. But if it's got 100 reviews at 4.7 stars, it's probably a good wig. Go with that one.
1,000 ones too.
Yeah. I was just pulling random numbers out of here. But Amazon is a good place to start. And what are brands? I don't remember brands off the top of my head. I know Arda wigs.
Yeah, Arda is really the go-to. If you become really into wigs and wig making, Arda is where all the competitive cosplayers get their wigs from because they're just fuller and better.
Yeah.
But for cosplay on a budget, what I've learned to do is buy a couple, like 2 cheaper wigs from Amazon, and then I know how to weft my own wigs together. So you can just combine wigs. So if I buy like a thin wig, I can get a thin wig on Amazon for $9.99, and I buy 2 of those, and then I take apart the second one, weft it back into the first one. Now I have a thick, glorious wig for $20 that would have cost me $70 on Arda.
Right.
So, but you have to know how to do that. But it's not that hard. It's actually really simple. You just need a proper wig head and a proper curvy needle. So that's how the wigs would, yeah. So as a beginner, Amazon on a budget, combine them, especially to get the different colors. And if you really want to go all out and you have the money, Arda is them, and someday I hope they sponsor me. Yay!
Arda, please, we love you.
Arda does sponsor some cosplay competitions, and very rarely have they sponsored an individual cosplayer, but they do have some competitions every once in a while, and I just never make the deadline to remember to submit. So one day I'll get a prize from them, just haven't yet.
Yeah, I just use cheap wigs. My wig game is not on par. My Misty wig was probably the best wig I ever got. I need some better wigs.
And this wig is gonna go in the sea too.
This wig is going nowhere near the ocean. This one is my current pride and joy. This is probably the best wig I've styled to date, so everyone please appreciate the wig. It's very heavy. Ooh. Ah.
And once again, you didn't really have a choice. You did it because it was character accuracy.
Right.
And so you did it on point with the character's style, colors, all of the things to that character. So
just so happens the character's style kind of goes with my style too.
Yeah, it worked out. All right, I think, what time is it?
4:15.
All right, we'll take like 2 more questions. And Aaron, you have one.
I don't know if cosplay specifically, but getting gifts from fans.
Oh, getting gifts from fans? Yes! Yes!
And no idea how to react.
You say thank you and be very happy. We always have a wish list up on Amazon. Our only problem is that Coaster Brony in the very back tends to buy the things before anyone else sees them, but I don't mind because he's a good friend, and then I don't have strangers buying it. But we always have a wish list on Amazon, up on our individual accounts on our socials, and that's not uncommon. Almost every cosplayer that's like in the industry and well known, it's not weird. It's normal.
Yeah.
They have wish lists. They have Throne, that's another place, that they will put like things they want, because then, so you'll see Throne lists, you'll see Amazon lists, you'll see things from a lot of cosplayers, because this is an expensive hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And so gifts, yes, we do accept gifts, and almost every known cosplayer you can find a wish list for if you look at their bios or just see a link in their bios. So
Right.
if someone bought you something, Aaron, yay, you didn't tell me, awesome. And you've got fan art? We have 2. Isn't fan art awesome? Fan art's awesome, gifts are awesome. Like, we love that. Like, and we cherish that. Like, I had to sell some stuff, and I could not sell a single thing that was given to me by a fan. I kept that, because it was too precious, right? Fan or friend. But I sold, like, stuff I bought myself, because that doesn't have the same meaning. But if someone gives you something, it's like, so reinforcing and lovely, so congratulations, that's so cool. Yeah, and thank God for generous humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need more generosity in this world, for sure.
One of the elements of harmony.
Yeah, and yeah, just thank God for the generous people, and I'm so blessed to have generous people in my life, too. Any other, we'll take one more.
Final question. Anybody have one? Any final questions?
All right, we'll give a summary then, if no one has a question. All right, what is your cosplay motto? I put you on the spot.
Oh gosh. Have fun, look fabulous, kick butt, don't die. I don't know, is there anything better to say?
No, that's good. Brian, your turn.
Just have fun. Yeah, don't die is a good one, I guess. But like, yeah, I just do it because, I mean, I used to be a lot more self-conscious about it. I never thought I would cosplay. It just kind of grew up slowly. I started. I saw somebody that just went to in a suit and tie, and I was like, oh hey, I have a rainbow dash tie, and I just started dressing up. And next thing I knew, I was Rumpelstiltskin. Next thing I knew, I was Discord, and I started branching out from just dressing up to dressing up as characters. And I was like, oh, it was so good to have that validation when somebody recognizes who you are, that I was like, oh, I kind of lost my shyness around that, you know. Goodness knows I would have never attempted a Rainbow Dash cosplaying as Sonic when I was first starting out, because I just would have been too self-conscious about myself. So yeah, it's really helped me develop, be more outgoing.
So today since I put you on the spot, I'll share mine. I put this today actually on Twitter for the first time, or X, whatever you want to call it, with a picture of me in this costume, right? And I said, welp, not afraid to be a fool. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own. If you can dance with wildness and let ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, be realistic, or remember the limitations of being human. That is my motto for life. That is my motto for cosplay. Don't be afraid to embrace the joy of who you are and what you can create. There's no limits to that. And cosplay is one of those ways to express the fact that there aren't those limits. You can be and become whatever you imagine to be. And even be a fool for your art. I'm a big chicken-looking fool, and I'm embracing it, and I'm having fun, and I dance like a fool at opening ceremonies, and I just having fun with it, and I want that joy for every single one of you, whether it's in your real life or in your cosplays. Just embrace that joy and don't be afraid to be a fool for what you love.
Exactly. Being a human is boring, so you might as well be a horse.
Thank you, everyone. We got to head downstairs. We're having a scavenger hunt if you want to have some great time. It's a separate event from the regular con fee. It's $10, but it does come with some professional photos that will get printed out for you right away. A really great time to enjoy the boardwalk and some really amazing prizes. So we'll meet you down in the back lobby, anybody that's doing the scavenger hunt. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for coming.